All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. I have a few announcements before we go ahead and start. I first want to welcome all of you to the 2021 Oxford World Convention, and welcome to the World Council Update Panel, which is what you're sitting in right now. As a reminder, please wear your masks indoors properly, above your nose, but below your chin. Lanyards and name badges are required to enter every session. If it's a breakout or if it is a general session, you must be wearing these to enter that session. I'll take a moment for everyone to please silence your cell phones so it doesn't interrupt the speakers or any of the information you receive here. Be respectful of the colored bracelets and people's contact preferences. If you are green, you can have, that makes it allowable to give them a hug or shake their hand. Yellow is fist bump or elbow bump only, and red is please maintain your distance. They would prefer not to be touched. So please respect those and understand that that is their preference. So it's very important that we respect that for everybody. In your name badges in the front, make sure that your QR code and your name badge is clear so that we can scan you into each session. The only smoking and vaping areas we have is outside between the ballroom and the parking garage. Do not smoke near the doors, and please dispose of butts properly. Just like Jackson said in the main session, we want to leave this place better than we found it. So please be respectful and don't throw those butts on the ground because somebody does have to come and pick those up. It doesn't take that much effort to go and throw them in the trash can that are located right by all of the doors. Don't forget to rate the session on the convention app. If you haven't downloaded the convention app is called Compass. What's it called? Crowd Compass by Cvent. If you scan your QR code into it, it'll automatically populate you that you are here at the Oxford House World Convention, and you'll be able to see all the sessions. If you click on the sessions, you're able to see what rooms they're in, where they're located, what the session is kind of about and everything. The AA meetings has been moved to National Harbor 3. If you remember last night, it was right across the hallway. It's going to be located on the other side of National Harbor. We did have a lot of turnout for that, so it has been moved to a bigger room, and the NA meeting has been moved to National Harbor 10. So that is all that I have for announcements. Got to do a little bit of that housekeeping every time we go into sessions. I would like to welcome you to the World Council update. I'm going to go ahead and play this PowerPoint. It'll be on here. I'm not going over anything on there. That's kind of just for your viewing pleasure. It is on a loop, so you'll get to, if you miss something, it'll come back to it. Just keep looking at it. There's lots of pictures, lots of fun stuff. It's a really good PowerPoint. So I'd like to introduce my panelists that are with me. We have the infamous, the legend, James Maclean. We have Adam Spear right next to him. We have John Ware next to Adam. We have Seth Dewey. And we have our very amazing parliamentarian, Tim Ring. I'm going to go over a little of stuff about the World Council, and then I'm going to allow each of them to come up here and speak. So the Oxford House World Council is made up of Oxford House residents and alumni who are elected annually at the conventions to serve staggered 3-year terms of office. Elections take place annually at the convention. Residents and alumni members serve staggered 3-year terms of office. Alternate residents and alumni members serve 1-year terms. In the alternate resident or alumni positions, those are only 1-year terms. The Oxford House World Council is an advisory council that identifies problems and issues, develops draft solutions and resolutions to make suggestions and recommendations to the organization. The World Council members meet in person twice yearly and hold periodic meetings by telephone conference call. We have moved those over. Oh, it's not playing. I did. It says it's paused, or it says that it's working. Oh, maybe we have to do, I'm sorry, technical difficulties. Is it down here to do the?
No.
Play from the beginning. Should be. It should be 10 seconds, so. Okay. We've got it working now. The council identifies problems and issues that develops, and we draft solutions and resolutions to make suggestions and recommendations to the organization. The World Council members meet in person twice yearly and hold periodic meetings by telephone conference. So we have moved our conferences to Zoom when the pandemic started. We also met regularly, if not more than regularly, over the last 2 years since we were unable to meet in person to make sure that we completed all the work that we were meant to complete here. So it is a very tough position to be in the World Council, but it's very, I don't even know how to explain it in words, honoring, and we do a lot of work, whether we're in person or on Zoom. And so it is a commitment. So anybody who is sitting in here who is running, I just want to make sure that you all are under the assumption that you know that we do meet every other month, and if there's any other emergency meetings, it is required that you're there, and that we meet for a whole week in Arkansas to do our summit, and it is required for you to be there as well. It's also required for you to be at the convention and helping out at the convention with the different obligations that we have set aside. We meet twice yearly, so when we meet, it sounds like we're having a lot of fun, and we do have a lot of fun, but it's work from sun up to sundown for an entire week. We get in on a Sunday and we leave on a Saturday, and it is required for you to be there. So I just want to reiterate that it is it's a commitment, and we want people who want to be on that commitment to be on the council, because that's only going to make the council stronger and get our name out there more so that we are more recognized. At this 2021 Oxford World Convention, residents will elect 8 resident members, 3 resident members for 3-year terms, 3 residents for 2-year term resident terms, ending in 2023, and 2 resident for 1-year alternate terms that are ending in 2022. Residents and alumni will also select 1 alumni member to serve 3-year term, and 1 member to one member to serve I've lost my train of thought. 1 member to serve a 3-year term ending in 2024, and 1 alumni member to serve 1-year term ending, but that doesn't make sense. That's wrong. But we are electing 2 resident members. They're both 3-year terms, aren't they? No, 1 1-year term and 1 2-year term. Yeah, so we are selecting 2 alumni members. We have 2 alumni openings right now on the council. The World Council members will report to the convention on their activities over the past year. In many ways, the World Council serves as a canary in a coal mine, and members all over the country keep their eyes and ears open to learn new ways to improve Oxford House operations. When they detect a problem or improvement, they share their views with Oxford House, Inc. Since the World Council chair is the ex officio member of the Oxford House Board, lines of direct communication are always open. So that's a little bit about our World Council. I want to go over a few other things with you before I give you a little bit about my story and what made me excited to come on the World Council. So the primary purpose of the World Council is working together to foster recovery without relapse by keeping Oxford House true to its purpose and mission. And our primary purpose of Oxford House World Council is to ensure that all Oxford Houses and Oxford House as a whole operate in a way that is consistent with the Oxford House traditions and systems of operations, as described in the Oxford House Manual. So when I first came in, I should introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Curry, and I am in long-term recovery, which means for me that I have not found it necessary to have a drink or a drug since January 15th, 2016. And thank you. And when I first got into recovery, I had no idea what Oxford House was. I thought it had something to do with the college. I hadn't heard of it. I wasn't aware of it. And when I was in rehab, I needed to find a safe place to go. I was 27 at the time, and I didn't want to go back to my parents' house. And so I started hearing everybody talk about Oxford. So I looked into it. I watched the 60-minute video, and I became very interested in it. I ended up getting in a house in Kansas City, Kansas, called Serenity Hills. And it was a brand new house that had just opened. And I went into the house, and I fell in love with it immediately. When I got into it, I was probably in the first couple of months, I was almost every position, just helping out, trying to get the house stabilized and get everything working and running. And after that couple of months, I realized immediately that I wanted to do more. So within a few months, I was going to chapter every month, and I decided I wanted to get involved in chapter. So when I got involved in chapter, I was the housing services for the chapter for 6 months as the co-chair, and then I was elected as the chair for a whole year. When I got involved in that, I realized I wanted to get even more involved. I wanted to give back what was given to me. And I knew that I needed to do that by being involved in state. So I went to my first ever state meeting at the beginning of 2017, and I was elected to be our revolving loan officer, which was a brand new position. That was a 2-year position. I got that position, and I developed that position. And probably within a few days after being in that position, I realized I want to go even further. I want to be on the Oxford House World Council, because that is where I am going to make a difference. That is where I am going to be able to speak on behalf of the residents and the alumni up the chain, and be able to have that direct line of communication between the residents and the alumni and the Oxford House World Council and OHI. And so that was my plan. And so when I decided to run, I thought the state was going to vote me in. I thought, I've got it in the bag. I've been involved in state. It's going to be good. And they're like, okay, well, we want you to run for World Council. You're going to go to DC, and you're going to campaign for yourself. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. What? I was like, what do I have to do? Like, just go around and say my name and everything? And they said, well, that, and you have to stand up on stage and give a 3-minute speech in front of 1,500 people. And I was like, what? I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll do that. So I got all my shirts in. I got all of my posters that I had made, which, by the way, don't do posters ever. It's not a good thing. I learned that the hard way, because I got there early, and I posted all these posters, and I had all this stuff on tables and stuff. And pretty soon after they were up, I was told, we can't have anything on the walls, Steph. You got to take them down. I was like, oops, okay. So lesson learned, and don't bring posters. So I did that, and then I remember getting up on stage, and it was kind of a blur. Thank goodness somebody recorded it for me, because otherwise I would have not known what I said or what I did, because when you stand up there, you're sweating profusely, and and you've got Paul Malloy that's right back here. That's closer than James Maclean is to me right now. And he's hovering over you. So when they say you have 3 minutes, you have like 1.5 minutes. And so you speak from your heart. You say what it is that you want to see accomplished on the World Council and why you want to be on the World Council. And you do that in a very short amount of time. And so I did that, and thankfully I was under 3 minutes, and I ended up being elected onto the World Council. And I remember afterwards I called my parents, and I was crying, and I was like, I did it. I've done it. This is what I was meant to be. This is who I was meant to be. I was supposed to be somebody that can have a voice that stretches further than just my state. So on the World Council, my main goal was to try and bridge the gap that we had between OHI and World Council. And I was the convention chair and the secretary. I was convention chair for 4 years. I was secretary for 2. and I helped bridge that gap. I was able to get in contact with OHI, and I was able to talk to them about conventions and be able to put the World Council's input into that. And then, I don't know how, but in 2019, when we were here back at the Renaissance, at our Saturday night meeting, I was blessed with the opportunity to be the chair. And that's when all of my work really started, and I had no idea. So I started the World Council chair, and that meant at that point I was able to have a direct communication with the board of directors for OHI. And it was a very tough couple of years trying to be the World Council chair in the midst of a pandemic. But like I stated earlier, we were able to have lots of Zoom meetings. We had emergency meetings. I would make sure that I was in constant contact with my council to make sure everybody was doing okay physically and mentally, because I know that one of our greatest enemies is being by ourselves. And that is exactly what we did. And so we had to be there for everybody else. So I made sure that we had constant meetings, that we were working with the things that we could work with, and we could get work done even though we weren't in person. And so fortunately, I got to be able to be on the council for an extra year, since we weren't able to be in person to elect a new council last year. After having an extensive conversation with Paul Malloy, he had said that because this was it was what? Yep, it was unprecedented, and it was an act of God that we couldn't control, that all of our terms got extended 1 year. So this is my last year on the World Council. However, I do get to stay on as parliamentarian for 1 extra year. So it has been a great honor to be able to be on the World Council. My 3-year term turned into a 5-year term, and I could not have been any more blessed to be on it for the time that I was, and to be able to help this council grow and see all of these individuals. We have Rick down here, who is part of the council, and David and Stephanie over there, who's also on the council. And I got to see each and every one of them grow and become the people that they were meant to be. In their different committees and in everything that they do on the council. Everybody has a unique purpose on the council, and I have not seen this council as strong as it is than I have since I've been on it, starting in 2017. And we have a lot of great people to thank for that, because there were many people before us that helped develop this council to become what it's meant to become. So with that, I am going to turn it over and have some of them share their experience, strength, and hope within the council and what they do and the different committees that we have. And so you can hear all of their stories as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Adam first.
My name is Adam Spear. I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. I was elected to the World Council as an alumni alternate in 2014. I fulfilled that term and ran again, and was elected, and then ended up filling a alumni who dropped off. I've been on the council now for 7 years, and some of the things that I've accomplished since I've been on the council, we've got the oxfordhousewworldcouncil.org website. We started taking electronic payments for all of our fundraising. Oh, I love that picture of Tim. We all missed it. Darn, that was a good one. Hold on, we got to go back. That was a good one. Yeah, there you go. That's a great picture of Tim. I love that picture of Tim. I was elected with that guy. He had his picture on shirts. It was great. So I believe I wrote the first budget for the World Council. There was a lot of things that we just never done. We had never done, and I think the first budget was somewhere around $5,000 Because what a lot of people don't understand about the World Council is we don't have any direct funding sources. You know, in the Oxford House organization, the houses pay dues to the chapters pays dues to the state pays dues or donations to OHI. World Council is not anywhere in that organization. So if you come down to the World Council table and get a sweatshirt, get a t-shirt, get an alumni ticket, those funds help us do what we do, you know, and they might be a little bit more than what you're paying for at a state level, but again, we don't have any other funding sources. I'm really excited to see the people that are here that are running. I think it's really important if you're running for a position to be present and be a part of the organization before you actually put your name in to run for the organization. There's a few people that are missing that I'm a little shocked to not see them here today. But I've been honored over the last 7 years to work with an amazing group of people. Chuck Liston being one of them, sitting there in the back. And you know, I feel like I've been able to grow a lot. My first house I moved into was the Lake Dolph Oxford House. It was March 18th, 2005, and it's been a long road since then. But I lived in that house for 2 years. I was a voting alumni for Washington State for 5 consecutive terms. That's 10 years total. And you know, there was a lot of times where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I here? You know, what experience and friendship and example am I giving to these individuals that are coming in? You know, because there's a lot of times where my phone didn't ring and things didn't happen, and I was just kind of showing up, going through the motions. And I had somebody tell me, Tony Perkins actually told me, he was like, you know what, it doesn't matter how much you do or you don't do. You're there when we need you to be there. And that is what I try to do every day, is I try to be there when I'm called upon, on their terms, not on mine. So I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope to see the World Council go even further in the next few years. And even though I won't be on the council after this convention in an official capacity, they're not going to get rid of me that easy. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam. Next, I'm going to go ahead and have John Ware come on up.
Hi, everyone. I'm John. I'm a man in long-term recovery, and thanks to the men in my house, all of you guys and this organization, in a few days, I will have 9 years. This is the longest stretch of sobriety I've had since birth, and I directly contribute that to Oxford House. The men in my house got me started in a form of helping out. You know, I think I was there for 2 weeks before they voted me in as treasurer. I got so good at it, I started double paying bills. You know, still a little messed up in the head and stuff. Didn't realize it. A few months later, got voted into our chapter as the treasurer because somebody dropped off. Guy says, Corey Ham, he says, hey, vote this guy in. He's so good. He double pays our bills. So I got involved with the chapter, which led to serving on a state association. The natural progression to that, to me, seemed to be serving on the World Council. Boy, was I in for a surprise. The most amazing thing I think I've ever done is serve on the World Council. The first day I showed up in Arkansas, I was like a deer in headlights. And I kind of latched on to Tim a little bit and asked him for direction and always looked towards him. And him and the rest of the people on the council kind of led me in a direction that I think or I hope, is a good service to the community and to all of you guys. I don't serve on any of the. I'm not a chair of any of the committees in the council. I am the treasurer for the council, though I do help and serve on a number of the other committees. My direct drive as a council member and as the treasurer of the council is to ensure that all of you guys, your houses, your chapters, your state associations, and your committees have a firm understanding of what your financial situations are like, where your money's going, that kind of thing. I hope I can do that. In 2019, we passed a resolution stating to the purpose that we ask all state associations, chapters, houses to provide audits so that you guys have a firm understanding of that. I'm hoping to move forward in that, and I was elected in the council in 2018. It was a pretty amazing trip. Some of you guys, if you were back there, might remember I had these little squishy balls, that were in the shape of a globe on there. Like Stephanie, I learned that was probably not the best choice because everybody started throwing those balls across the rooms and across the halls and all that stuff. So little squishy balls probably not the best choice of advertising, though it did make me memorable. For those of you guys that are running or thinking of running, I commend you. Like Stephanie said, do know it is a lot of work. It's very rewarding. Like I say, this is the longest stretch of sobriety I've ever had, and I absolutely contribute that to my service to Oxford House and to the World Council. I don't know where else to go with that. But I look forward to those of you that are not going to be on the World Council. I ask all of you to look into maybe serving on one of the committees. This year, we're going to open up these committees to everyone to come join. We have a number of chairs. I think there's 9 committees on the World Council. The chairs are within the World Council, and we're going to ask you guys to participate in those committees. Come to the World Council table and look at, oh yeah, there he is. And look at some of those pamphlets to get an idea of what committees you might be interested in. And there should be contact information on there to contact your committee chairs. I think that's all I got, really. I mean, thank you guys for supporting all of us.
Just so you guys know, all the firearms in those videos are BB guns.
Yeah, they're fake. That's in Arkansas. Yeah.
Daisy Museum, that was at the Daisy BB Gun Museum. So they're not real.
Yeah. I would like to go off just a little bit of what John was saying about the committees. So the committees are always open for people to join the committees. This year we did pass in our mini summit, which we had right before the convention since we weren't able to meet any earlier, that we made a motion and we passed that during our regular business meetings that we have every other month, during those committee reports, that is going to be where we're going to open it up to anybody who's on that committee to be able to join us on those calls. So it's in your World Council manual that you all got in your bag. All of the descriptions are in the manual about which committees are which and what they do. I would encourage everybody to look through those and get an interest. And if you're interested in any of those committees, you can come and approach our World Council table before you leave. My name's Stephanie Curry. You can find me on Facebook, and I can get you in contact with that chairperson so that you can be on that committee. We want these committees to open up and really go cross country so that we can have a lot of involvement to be able to help with these committees, because it's not a one-person job. It's a unified job for everybody to do together. So I just kind of wanted to go off a little bit of what he had said, and I really appreciated him for bringing that up. But to clarify that for you guys, that it is going to start being open to anybody who's on that committee. So you don't necessarily have to be on the World Council to be able to participate with the World Council. So next, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Seth Dewey.
All right. So, don't want you to get my muffled voice, you know. All right. So, my name is Seth Dewey, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that looks like for me is I haven't used a substance since July 23rd of 2017. So, Oxford House did amazing things in my life, right? All of you can attest to that as well, right? All of a sudden, I had this safe place to work on myself, and there weren't that many rules. You know, it was pretty simple. Don't use, pay your EES, and don't be disruptive. And I was like, can it really be that simple? And it was, right? And I was fascinated with it. And I was fascinated with the concept of how it happened. You know, the need arose, and people like us took charge of the situation, and they made it happen, right? Yep. They lost funding, so they did it, right? And look what's happened since. And listening to James talk about how the council was formed just blew my mind. All of this arose out of necessity to improve things as the need was seen. And it blew my mind. So Oxford House, in the World Council Manual, it says on page 4 that Oxford House has unique characteristics that are worth preserving. Each one of us can preserve those things by helping our house adhere to the model, right? And then we can carry that on in chapter service. And then we can carry that on in our state or regional association. And then we can also carry that on in the World Council, right? So all of those manuals are in your bag. Read them. And what's cool about all this is I never knew how to run a business meeting. I never knew anything about a business meeting, seconding motions and stuff, right? But think of the empowerment that we get from the day that we get accepted into an Oxford House. And think of that knowledge that we get and that experience that we get. Every single one of us is more qualified to sit on a board of directors than the majority of the population of our country. And why is that? Because the manuals, because the model that was formed. So we have this cool opportunity at the World Convention, right, where we see democracy in action. We see it on a small level at our houses. We don't campaign, though. But then we have this rare opportunity at the World Convention where we get to see democracy in action, right? People campaign. People step outside of their comfort zones and they give speeches. And then the people choose. How cool is that? But it's not just cool, it's empowering. Another one of those things that we're given a chance to do, because guess what? We can. Because the need arises and it's time for us to step up. We talk about advocacy and we talk about improving things. This is our small way to do it in this organization, but it doesn't stop there. These are skills that we're learning to take outside of this even. That's what's beautiful about it. This is all stepping stones. Just like our program of recovery, man. The blessings it brings are unending. So one of the things that I have the privilege of doing on the World Council is working with the Alumni Committee, right? So what we're trying to do is continually improve. So if any of you would like to do some work on the Alumni Committee, I would be grateful to have that assistance. What we're working on is improving and our network of communication with alumni associations throughout the country, right? We know that we have a strong army of experienced warriors out there that are our alumni, and we want to bring that together so that we can continually make improvements so that those members in the houses can have the same experience that we did, or if we didn't have a good experience, so we can make the changes so they don't have that experience, right? It's our obligation to, once we know better, to do better. And that's all of us. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Oxford House in general, but especially the World Council, seeing that democracy in action, man, and seeing the different marriages that happen within the organization that makes this thing work. The model is true and it's trusted, man. So it's up to each and every one of us to ensure that it keeps going. So that's all I got. I don't want to take up too much time.
All right. Next, I am going to have Mr. Tim Ring, who is our former World Council chair and is now currently serving as our parliamentarian.
Ooh, Seth got me fired up. Anybody else? It's hard to know where to start. My name is Tim. I'm an alcoholic, person in long-term recovery. What that means for me is I haven't had a drink or a drug since September 13th of 2010. So, by the grace of God, Alcoholics Anonymous in Oxford House, in a couple of weeks, I'll have 11 years, man. So this is my last hoorah on the World Council, my last breakout session. Woo! That's heavy. That's heavy duty stuff. Drunk like me, allowed to serve on a council for 7 years. What a miracle that is in itself. So I lived in Oxford House Southern Hills for 39 months. Went through all the service structures up through state association and was like, what am I going to do now? Well, Tim, you're going to start an alumni association and you're going to run for the World Council. That's what you do. You know, when you run out of service positions to take, just like it was said before, you see what's ahead. And that would be the World Council. And had a blast doing it. It's a tremendous responsibility. It's a service commitment warrior position. You know, we make it attractive by the election process, you know, the t-shirts, the posters, the Facebook posts about, you know, vote for me, vote for me. But it's the most important commitment that I've ever made. And the benefits that have come from that commitment are indescribable. The relationships that I've built are indescribable. From going to a completely isolated drunk and drug addict to having the ability to develop real friendships and accomplish goals with people is the miracle of recovery. So I'd like to try to share some of the experience that I've gained. We've come a long way in 7 years as a World Council. We've become more organized. We've become more goal-oriented. We've become united behind what we're trying to do, which is be your voice to OHI. So we collect data. So our goal is to have, you know, a representative at each state or regional association. And if you don't have a state or regional association, we will assist you in forming that state association. So we have a connective web of information, of shared experience, what works, what don't work, all that good stuff, so we can have more success. And I think we're getting better and better. So that's kind of our goal. That's our tentacle. So if you get elected to the World Council from your area, you have a vote on the state association. And when you attend that state association or regional association meeting, you share what went on at the World Council meeting. So therefore, we have an interaction. You know, we develop that connectivity. We want the World Council to be on your hearts and in your minds of what we are. You know, it's been a mystery for a long time. I didn't know what the World Council was until I knew what it was. So we want to resolve that mystery, and we're making progress with these fine folks here. So you're seeing a bunch of cool pictures flash by here in a second. You're going to see me and Khalil in Dallas. I've got my Tim Ring State Association approved t-shirt on, got my face on it. But I've served with Khalil. He couldn't make it because of health restrictions. He and I have served on the council for the last 7 years and that's where our friendship developed. Adam Spear as well. So it's going to be difficult not to see them every year. But the spirit of rotation is absolutely necessary. Seeing you guys show up to the meeting last night and here today, those guys that are running or those people that are interested in being on committees, it really has a soft spot in my heart for you guys. But follow through is everything. Many, many times we have people run who don't understand what it means to be on a commitment, and they have too busy lives, so they have to give it up. So I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't be too busy to fulfill this commitment, because it will change your life. So one of our jobs is to be the guardians of these manuals. So it's been my experience that there's kind of two sides to Oxford House. We got the business side, which is outreach. We got the democracy side, which is the World Council. We want to protect your right. So we do have an upside down pyramid. Houses sit at the top of that pyramid. Chapters serve the houses. State associations and regions serve the chapters. The World Council, OHI, serve everybody else. So we're at the bottom. Residents are at the top. And so we are here to protect your democratic power, and you guys have all the power. Residents of the houses vote on everything. You vote where your house dues go, and then so on and so forth down that pyramid. So you guys have all the power. You probably just don't know it. You have the power to elect us and to elect all your service positions. So you are the most important person here, all the residents. Without you, we don't have anything. It's been a trip. I was World Council chairman for 2.5 years. I've been very fortunate enough to sit on the board of directors for those 2.5 years and kind of be the voice to kind of bridge that gap and conversate with Paul Malloy and Jane and Kathleen on the direction that we're trying to head. And we're slowly but surely starting to get a real face and a real name, and the voice is for you. So take an opportunity to look inside yourself and look at that World Council manual, and there's a fire in you that can be a part of those committees, whether it's charter, chapter, state association, somewhere that you find your groove. You know what's in your groove, and you can add to what we have to offer. Like I said, like Adam said, I'll be a phone call away. I've got so much crap in my head and history from this World Council that I'm glad to share it. But that's probably all that I've got. I probably forgot some stuff, but again, I'll be around to share any information that I've got. So thank you for your commitment to come to this breakout session. And those of you who are running, I look forward to talking to you on the phone and answering any questions that I can. It's been an honor to serve.
just like Adam said, we're not going to let Adam or Tim go very easily. So they will be one phone call away and will be very beneficial in the future of the Oxford House World Council, just like you guys can be as well. So next, I am going to introduce the myth, the man, and the legend, Mr. James Maclean. Please welcome him.
Hey, group. I'm James Maclean. And I've introduced myself earlier. Person in long-term recovery. Means I have not had a drink or drug since May 23rd, 1982. I'm proud of these guys, you all. Very, very proud of these guys. I've worked with them since their inception into the World Council. I'm very, very proud of them because we have grown so much because of them. And I thank them very, very much. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys, some of you on the World Council. But there's a couple of things I wanted to bring out that I did not bring out. Somebody asked me this morning why we have 3 years, 2 years, 1 year time periods. And I didn't think it was answered. Let me tell you why. When we first started the World Council, if we had put everybody on the World Council to be reelected the next year, the World Council would never get continuity because you'd always have new people. Every year it'd be new people, new people. So what Paul and I decided to do was to stagger the terms. The 3-year people, they would be there 3 years. The 2-year people, 2 years. And the 1-year people, by the time the 3-year people are off the World Council, then they would have trained the 2 and the 1s and the 1s coming up. And so we had a very good continuity. The only thing about that was at some point when we first started, we had problems with people who didn't understand what the World Council was, and they got on the World Council just for notoriety as opposed to substance and helping us get better. But we've solved that problem now. So that was one problem, one question. The other question somebody asked me was that, what does the World Council really, really do, in terms of things? And I was reading the manual the other day, and I was looking, and I was reminded that years ago, when we first had our first convention in '99, where's the next convention going to be? So the next convention was going to be because Kansas City came and they did a lot of talking about the World Convention, so they got to the World Convention. But then that next year, the group decided that, okay, since Washington was where it all, Washington DMV, where it all started, let's come back to Washington every other year. That may change it sometime down the road, but that was one of the things that the council asked the body to vote on. So they voted on that. And this is another part of the World Council. We listen to you guys, tell us what you guys think we can do, what we cannot do, what we want to do. And when we get this all together, we sit in these meetings and you talk about these long meetings. These meetings are deciding how we can present what you want us to do to the body. We don't tell people what to do. We just present it to the body. And so another resolution was that 1 year we had a golf tournament. And so the women said, well, we want to have something too. So they had a women's conference. And so the next year they voted to have, we recommended to the group that every year we have a women's conference. And so it was voted on at the body, like you're going to do tomorrow evening, you're going to vote on a resolution. So it's our way of getting all of you guys' ideas together, put it in a basket, and put it in the midst of the whole group. So it's not like we make decisions, we do this. We prepare information for you to be voted on because it's a democratic process. And I just wanted to bring that out because it's very important. What we do is very, very important. We take what you want, what you think you want, or what's good for the organization, what can best help the organization, and we take it and we sit around, and you should be in some of these conversations about what is really good, what is really right. And we get that and we say, okay, maybe we can get this passed. It won't hurt the organization. It'll make us a better place. So what we have done is we've found a way to sit down. Now, can you imagine a bunch of drunks and drunks getting together to decide anything? The Oxford House system does that. The model does that. Because we don't care about what your past is, what you want to do from this point on and how we can help you get there. And so when we sit down in a meeting, we learn the democratic process. We learn how to decide stuff. And the World Council has been Really, really great. And we started out the World Council with a 2-day, 3-day meeting. They graduated into a week's meeting. And so when you put us together for a week, we better have some fun. You better have some fun, but if you don't, we're gonna get each other's nerves. So we went from 3 days to 4 days to a week. But in that week's time, they say we work like dogs. We really don't. We work hard, but we play hard, and we do things. We go out and we see things. So for people who have not been to Arkansas or have not been or even to the convention, it's an opportunity to see some things and do some things and go places. And I know that every year I used to say at the convention, I used to ask how many people have flown for the first time. I was amazed at how many people had flown for the first time. And so if you haven't flown for the first time, you haven't been very far. You hadn't gone very far if you haven't flown, unless you drive across the country somewhere. But the World Council has been a really, really vital part of the growth of Oxford House. It's really, and we work more like we work in the background. So if you want to have an outstanding name beside you, World Council, then you better go somewhere else, because we don't want that. We just want to do the job that we can do to make it better. We want you to join us to help us do that, and you can do that. You'd be surprised at how many times, how many people who have come through this organization and gotten clean, and they got involved, and probably would not have gotten involved, would not have gotten clean without it. I'm reminded of a time when I heard somebody say this one time about the school kids. Kids who get involved with things in school generally do pretty good in classrooms, stuff like that. So when you get clean, I didn't stop using drugs just to do nothing. But I thought I wanted to do nothing but not use drugs. And I found I couldn't just do nothing and then not do drugs. So I got involved. And my involvement with Oxford Houses and World Council and all the things that have come that has made me a better person, have made me love me, but I love the people. You'd be surprised the people you meet every day, and you stop judging people by looking at them, and you start to listen to them and talking to them. And World Council gives you an opportunity to sit and look at people and talk to them every other month, and you learn who they are. And I've grown. I've seen so many people come through. So if you are interested in this World Council thing, come with us. We need you, because you can bring something to our group that's maybe not there. And I can remember when Adam came in. I can remember when Tim came in. And they all brought something. I remember they all came. Steph came. They all brought something to the group that made the group better. And we're asking you all to do the same thing. Even if you can't be a member of the World Council, you can be a committee member. You can say, okay, over in my city, we did whatever, Alumni Association. We want to do something else. We want to do something. And we can pass the information along. What we do is we pass information across the nation, because we are a nation already, because we have Kansas, Washington State, Oregon, to Oklahoma, North Virginia, and so Texas. And the reason for that, if you want to know the reason for that, is we did not want to have everybody on the World Council from one place. It's a nationwide organization. So that's why we have this law that you cannot have more than 2 people from your state on the World Council. We don't want you to have all Washington people, all DC people, all everybody on the council. We want a variety of people so we can have a variety of ideas and issues that we can have. So enjoy yourselves here while you're here. Obey the rules. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you, James. You always clarify everything just the way it's meant to be clarified. So, So I've just got a few more things that I'm going to go over with you guys, and then we're going to open it up to questions or anything like that you guys may have. When we ask for questions, please stand up there at either one of those mics. Please give yourself enough distance to be able to talk. You can pull down your mask to be able to ask the question so we can hear you clearly and be able to help you with those answers. So just another thing about the election process that we want to reiterate with you guys. First of all, who's all running that's in here right now? Can you guys stand up? I want you guys to remember these guys' faces. The ones that are sitting in here right now are the ones that are dedicated and want to learn as much as they can before they join the World Council. And like Adam had said earlier, there are some people we don't see in these ones that are running, that we know are running, but are not making it a priority to come and learn and put a commitment into it for what it is. So if you are interested in running after being in this breakout, please come to us so that we can give you a resident or alumni nomination ballot. It needs to be in today by 1 p.m. Remember that if you are running, you do have to provide a speech up at the general session at 2 o'clock. And you have to provide a speech up in front of everybody. If you do not, you are automatically disqualified, even if you've done your nominations. So we just want to make that clear on how that voting process works after they have done their speeches. It is imperative that you guys come down to the World Council table in the Prince George's exhibit and get ballots to vote. Remember, it is for each resident, you get to vote for 3 resident positions and 1 alumni position, but it can only be 1 person from each house. So if you came with your entire house, make sure that you get with your house with the ballot and you guys all decide the 3 residents you want and the 1 alumni that you want to vote for. If you are alumni, you can only vote for alumni. You cannot vote for a resident. The ballots are different colors. Yep, they're going to be green and yellow. The green is going to be the resident ballots. The yellow are the alumni ballots. The resident ballots will have both residents and alumni on them. The alumni ballots will only have alumni. Isn't that correct? Okay. So, and we do look through all of them. And if somebody votes for more, if there's more than 1 person who votes in the House, we will get the first one that we get and the rest of them will be discarded. Make sure that you let everybody that you know, not only that you know or you don't know, that they need to vote for the people, and let them know what you've learned in here today. And let them know that, it's important work that we're doing. And like Seth had said, we're here to help you and to prove the democracy of what Oxford House is. And to always remember that the House is the most important part of the entire organization. Because if we didn't have the House, we wouldn't have anything else underneath it. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. You guys can go ahead and stand over there, and we will help you out best we can. I mean, everybody doesn't have to cop up at once.
All right, so what exactly, does the World Council get, like, is it just like a sacrifice thing, like y'all do that on a spare time, or is that like a job, or, okay,
It's volunteer work only.
okay. And
Yep. It's a service position.
anybody can run for World Council? How long do you have to be in Oxford to be able to do it? What positions do you have to hold before then? Because, like,
One of the main things that to be required to be able to run for World Council is you have to have been president in your house.
okay, word, is that it?
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
President in your house, and that you are still living. If you want to vote, if you want to be in a resident position, you have to still be in a house, and you have to leave in good standing. If you are voted in as a resident, you can. If you're voted in as a resident, you can move out and become alumni as long as you leave the House in good standing, you don't owe any money, and you don't relapse or anything like that, you'll be able to stay on the World Council, and you'll just have that resident position. So for me, in 2017, I ran as a resident, but I future left the House in good standing. I've become very involved in my my alumni association, and so I'm alumni now, but I'm still in the residency position in the World Council. So just know that you don't have to stay in your house the entirety of your time on the World Council as long as you leave it in good standing.
That's awesome. So I've been with Oxford for 7 months, and
Speak up to the microphone.
okay, so I've been with Oxford for 7 months now. And if I wanted to, I could go put my name on the ballot and give a 3-minute speech and really woo the crowd, and I could be on World.
So where are you from?
I'm from Kentucky.
We don't have anybody on the council for Kentucky. You can run. Yeah. So the nominations say that I, and you put your name, hereby clarify that I was a member of an Oxford House. I have served as president of an Oxford House. I am familiar with the principles and traditions set forth in the Oxford House manuals. I am willing to commit to serve a period of 1 to 3 years, and I'm in recovery and clean and sober today. Yeah.
And then you get 5 people.
You have to get 5 people to sign off on you. So you would go up to anybody. I mean, we've got how many, like 1,500 people here? You've got this. Go up to 5 different people. And are you running as a resident?
Yeah.
We need resident spots. Do we have an extra one that we can give them right now?
No.
Come down to the council table immediately after this. We'll give you a nomination ballot.
Let's get it.
Hold on 1 second.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, I'm really glad to be here today. I know that the World Council, I didn't know what it was. Like some of the people have talked about, reading the House manual helps you understand Oxford House. There's plenty of literature out there to help you understand the simple, just how easy it is to understand Oxford House. But I know that my question is, the past resolutions, I was encouraged to read the World Council manual by attending my state association meetings and listening to Adam and Rick and in Washington State. And I noticed that there's several resolutions that have been passed throughout the years. And I know that there was a big deal about people on methadone for a while, whether or not they were accepted in Oxford House. And I know that I was there when we voted to resolve to the issue of the MAT therapy and the treatment there. I want to know what the feedback has been since we made that resolution, and I was also interested if you guys have come up with the resolutions for this World Convention.
You want me to take that first one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually really, really glad you brought that up. This might help with your question. So we did have originally 3 resolutions we were going to present to the body and have you guys vote on them at the 3rd general session on Saturday. However, after having our summit and discussing it with the rest of the council, we have adopted that we are going to have 1 resolution that we are going to propose to you guys on Saturday. That resolution is, be it resolved that the World Council shall study and report to the full membership at the next convention, which, if any of the existing 67 resolutions are obsolete, redundant, or not necessary.
Yeah.
Would you like to go further? That was it. Yep. So we appreciate you bringing that up, and that has been a conversation that we have been talking about, that there are lots of resolutions out there. If you guys don't have, will someone pass me the World Council book? If you guys don't know what the resolutions are a big part of what World Council does is we get your guys' thoughts and your input, and we get to discuss what maybe some of the changes need to be, because time's ever changing. We can't keep adopting some of the stuff that was back in 1975, because in 2021, it's different. It's a different time. And so there are different things that we need to do. So in the back of your World Council manual, there is a list of resolutions. There are 67 of them, and some of them are no longer relevant. And so the World Council is, if this resolution passes, the World Council will be at our next summit going through every single one of these and deciding which ones are relevant and which ones are not. And then we will propose which ones are no longer relevant, and we'll have a separate place in the manual where you can refer back to them, because the resolutions are still history. The resolutions are still very important to know how we've changed as Oxford House World Council and Oxford House as a whole. So thank you for that question. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Marvin White.
Hi, Marvin.
I represent Oregon here. I'm
Woo!
currently in the same house as Jim Richardson and Eldon Stahl, our chapter chair. And I've recently become pretty passionate about Oxford because I found the success rate for those who stay in Oxford to be one of the highest success rates in the country. You start out with a very low percentage for recovery, but Oxford have brought it to a new level. In Oregon, what I see as a problem is it's hard to keep the women's houses open through employment. I also happen to be a business owner. I own a housekeeping janitorial company with 48 employees, and I recently have found out that the government will help me pay my employees' wage as long as they're in recovery, up to 47%. So in that, I've kind of vowed that I'm going to begin to help the women's houses by employment, because sometimes what I see in Oregon is the reason why it's hard to keep the women's houses open is because a lot of them can't stay employed.
Right.
So by coming to this event and seeing everything, I think I would also like to run.
Okay.
I'm out of Oregon. Like I said, I'm a resident, and I am the president in my house.
Do we have we have an Oregon representative. Are you in a house?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, we already have a resident Oregon.
That's fine.
So I apologize, but
I'll be here next year.
I was going to say, keep coming back. It'll be open eventually. Get on a committee to keep involved with what we do and stuff.
I was thinking about getting on the development committee.
Awesome. That's a great committee to be on. So definitely get with us, and we will get you with who that new chair will be elected in on Saturday.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, go. No. There was somebody in line first. We're going to have him talk first. And then, no, you're fine. You can go stand up behind him.
So thank you very much for the opportunity to be a part of the Oxford House. It's helped me a great deal. But I've only been in the houses for a couple months. And so, learning about what the World Council is and the World Committee is key. And I have a little understanding, but how do you guys get the information from us about what we need? And is there where do we go to make suggestions about what you guys should be taking up?
So where are you from?
Maryland.
Maryland. You can come to any one of us that are sitting up on the council, and we take everybody's opinions, and we take what everybody has to say or concerns, and we can either help you individually if it's something that we've encountered before, or we'll bring it to the World Council and discuss it to see if maybe a resolution does need to be made about it. But we help each other in helping you. So you can find us on Facebook. We actually have a World Council page that you can go to. You can ask questions on that, and we will try and help you with anything like that. You can come up to the tables. We can give you phone numbers, and you can reach out to us personally. We don't bite. We love to get contacts, and we love to be able to help in any other way we can. So, just come up to us, and we'll give you our phone numbers, and we'll let you know how we can help. Or if anything arises, you'll be able to have somebody that contacts. We do want to make sure that we do reiterate that the pyramid of, that the chapters help the houses and the states help the chapter, and then World Council and OHI help everybody up. So go through those channels first before you come to us. But if none of those are working, or if you're not getting the answers that you need, then absolutely reach out anytime.
Yeah, sometimes it seems to me like it's hard to know who's in charge of the regions. If you have a dysfunctional house, you don't know who to go to because you don't know who the regional chair is or the regional house president is, because there's no at least for me, it's difficult to find out who's in charge of what and how to get in touch with people. And secondly, as far as the funding goes in terms of how houses are opened and how is there a way that we can lobby our legislatures in each state to try to prod them to fund Oxford houses?
Do you want to answer that one? I don't know the answer to that one.
So as far as the first first parts of your questions, I would always encourage you to follow the chain of service, within your chapter, but then also going up to state, regional, but then also like attend those meetings, actually attend them, and then also keep in good contact with your local outreach. That's a way that you can get a hold of those individuals, but also they could also put you in touch with us for other questions. Now, as far as the lobbying and things like that, I would be sure to also be in touch with your outreach coordinators on that as well, because sometimes there's other things going on that we don't know about per se, but they're also, that doesn't mean that you might not be able to have a part in that. So communication is key. Mm-hmm. So just always remember that there's a structure in there in the manuals and in the model that if we follow, it will be successful. It has been since 1975.
Yep. Okay, we've got one more question, and then it is past 11, so we need to get going. We are here all weekend, and so if you guys do have questions that weren't answered, please come up to us, and we can help you in any way possible. So I think that you were next.
All right, so really just like two quick questions. Can you hear me?
Who are you?
I'm Christy Greer. I'm from Oxford House, Chrysalis 2 in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm running for a resident position, and I was wondering kind of if you are elected by the body, like, do you know what position you're going to hold at that point, or is there just going to be like another stepping stone for like us to meet together and figure that out? Or?
Yep. So we always, when you're running, we always have our meeting that's closed to the new World Council and the ones that are going out on Saturday night after the banquet. Normally there's a dance on Saturday night and the raffle and everything like that. And if you are on the World Council, you do miss that every year because that's the first time that we're able to meet as a new council. We get all committee chairs figured out. We get new positions within the World Council, like we re-elect a treasurer and secretary and chair and vice chair and all that kind of stuff. So that is done at that time on Saturday night right after the banquet. Okay. It'll be in the National Harbor Room 8.
Okay.
And once you're elected, once the new council is elected, you'll sit with us at the banquet.
Yep.
All the former and new members will sit at the tables up front, and then we'll immediately after the meeting go to the first World Council meeting with the new members.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep.
And one more thing. I turned in my nominee form, but I guess I haven't got a ballot. Do y'all have one of those here that I can get? Or do
No, the ballots are not done until after the speeches.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Yep.
All right. I was confused on that.
Yep,
All
nope,
right.
you're good. You guys have a great convention. Be respectful to the hotel staff and all your peers and have fun.